The waiting is over, and the Houston Astros take on the New York Mets, or should I say Cam Smith versus Juan Soto. Let's talk about it and who we think is going to win the West in 2025.
I'm looking to the bullpen to bring my lefty in. Keep the lead and make your team look pedestrian. It's in your wheelhouse, we'll swing for the fence. You know it's money around here, man, I ain't talking expense. Strike one, heat a low in the way you can't hit it. You know you want to start a rally, but you better forget it. Strike two, off speed, same spot, your car looking. Get ready at the plate, this time you're not cooking. Strike three, swinging out of the zone. You ain't even touch it first. Tell me how they gonna drive you home. Walking back, looking like we ain't cool then. The game's over, might as well put them back to the bullpen, oh yeah.
Hello, everybody, and we are back to the bullpen. It is Mike Stanton and myself. Look, this is Back to the Bullpen, and you can get your Back to the Bullpen shirt that he's wearing at the Rams shirts with the QR code. You can also get other shirts like For the City, repping the University of Houston as well. He's got all kinds of stuff on there, so check him out. You know where to find the show on Instagram, on YouTube, on iHeartRadio. Subscribe to our channel. Follow us on all social media. You can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse, pretty much any social media platform. Mike, where can they find you, sir?
There's only one place, and that's on X, Mike Stanton 29. Okay, here we go. 2025 season right around the corner, less than 24 hours. Businessman special, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The Astros get this party started.
Yeah, I mean, not only is it the Cam Smith era, but Bobby Dynamite, the train conductor, announced that he gets to unleash his new whip on opening day. Okay. It's a newly renovated Phillips 66 sponsored train. And the question is, Mike, what do you think they're putting in the back of the train?
That is a great question. Maybe ice cubes? I don't know. I mean, supposedly that's going to be the nickname, the ice box. Daikin is an AC company. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see exactly what they put in the back of that very oversized train.
And you know what's funny? When they originally put the oranges in the back of the train, they look like pumpkins. And people kept asking, why are there pumpkins in the train? And then they made the pumpkins smaller to look like oranges.
Yeah.
And then I actually heard from someone connected with the team that they cannot refer to Daikin Park as the Icebox as a club because there's some trademark issues with the term Icebox. Now we as fans, call it the Icebox.
And that's listen, they wouldn't, in my opinion, they wouldn't call that. They didn't call it the juice box either.
You're right. That was more of a fan thing.
Yes,
right?
that's a fan slang type situation. So, I mean, heck, it's already called that. It was being called that last, as soon as we heard about, Daikin taking over the naming rights of the stadium. And, that came out almost immediately. So, it's not something the team would use. You would expect that.
So, I had a first-time experience the other day. I went to the game Monday, and I was at the game, and I had gotten a little message on Instagram, and they said, "Hey, we've got an extra ticket in the Diamond Club. Would you like to join us?" I'm like, "Sure." So they quoted me the ticket. I went down in the Diamond Club. The food spread is unreal.
Oh, yes, it is.
The seats are like you could literally talk to the players. They're comfortable. Yep. You can order from your seats. I mean, and everyone's like, wow, you're moving up. I'm like, well, I actually moved down, but this is not a financial status statement for me. I was in the right place at the right time, but that was a lap.
You are the Jeffersons. You are. Was it Fred and Wheezy? Is that who it was?
Yes. You know what's funny is I love that show.
It was awesome.
And look, I know we're not like on track here, but the first time I ever went to like West Hollywood to Hollywood, see kind of like the Walk of Fame, Grom's Chinese Theater, there was a huge billboard with the guy who plays JJ. What's his name? Walker.
JJ Walker, right?
JJ Walker, right?
Yeah.
So there was a big billboard of JJ on there. Of course, an older JJ in his JJ costume. And he had, you could tell he had just clapped his hands and it said Dino
I was
Mint.
going to say, did he give you the dynamite?
Well, it said Dino Mint, and it was for Altoids. It was an Altoids. I will never forget seeing that billboard of JJ up on that screen. Anyways, so look, what a way to bring in Cam Smith. No, so Cam Smith comes in, does the improbable. There's a phrase, and I kind of shared this on Locked On earlier, of they say it can't be done, or they say it's never been done. And they only say that until somebody actually does it. And what Cam Smith has done, I'm not saying it's never been done, but there are very few people who have played as few games professionally and as few games collegiately and made it up to the big leagues. And the way they delivered the message, a very special moment with his mother.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Dad, his sister, his girlfriend. And I even interacted with the gentleman who knows one of his coaches. And I saw a story, Mike. I want to share this with you, and I want to get your thoughts on Cam. At 9 years old, he shows up at the baseball park, and her son, Cam Smith, was wearing baseball pants, but all the boys were wearing shorts. And she says, "Why are the boys wearing shorts to baseball practice? You're supposed to wear baseball pants on a baseball field." And he said, from that day forward, we wore baseball pants. Isn't that cool?
That's a nice story. It is. And it just shows exactly what Cam's approach to life really was. And, it was to get to the big leagues, and he's here. And, you and I talked the last time we were on here at Back to the Bullpen, and we both thought that he was probably going to start in the minor leagues. But there was a chance. Well, guess what? As small a chance as it was, it's going to happen. And he's not just on the team. He's going to be starting in right field.
Yeah.
Also a new position. So you got a 22-year-old that has less than 40 games of professional baseball experience, none in AAA, only a few in AA.
Right.
A year ago was in college. And he is going to be starting for the Houston Astros in right field. One of the things that I talked about last time was the pressure of making the team out of spring training, the pressure of being in the starting lineup out of spring training. I mean, this is serious stuff. Oh yeah, and by the way, it's a new position, natural third baseman. I talked about how moving away from the infield, moving away from the plate is actually much easier than the opposite, coming to the infield from the outfield. And there's going to be hiccups, but obviously Dana Brown, Joe Espada, everyone thinks that, he can handle this pressure. He can handle the emotions. He can handle the frustrations that's going to be coming from Major League Baseball. And as great as spring training he did have, it's a little different once you get into the regular season. When you put the second deck on the stadiums, all of a sudden you're playing under the lights all the time.
Yeah.
Sliders get a little bit sharper. Fastballs have a little more life on them. Now all of a sudden guys just aren't working on stuff. But obviously these guys feel like that he is mentally, he is ready to deal with the trials and tribulations of being a major leaguer. So congratulations. That's awesome. Hopefully it works out the way everybody wants it to.
And you are going up against a lineup that is going to be one of the best in Major League Baseball, Mike.
By the way, you didn't put any pressure on him at all in our open right there when you said him against Juan Soto. There's no pressure there.
because they're the two names outside of Altuve that are being talked about the most. But you have Juan Soto, $700+ million man. Pete Alonso signed a new contract with the Mets, and kind of a different contract than he really wanted. Vientos, who I think is a really good hit. I mean, they've got some hitters in this lineup. Jesse Winker could be sneaky good. He's your consummate professional. He's going to go out there and he's going to compete every time he is out there. And then Clay Holmes. This is interesting. And I want to talk about this in regards to Cam Smith and some of the other guys before we get to before we come in from left field. Clay Holmes is a closer that has turned starter, and he has success against the Astros. I think in 10 innings, he has 10 strikeouts. He's only given up like a couple hits. He hasn't given up any home runs. The only person in this lineup that's hit a home run off of him is Christian Walker, and he's only faced him 2 or 3 times. So you have a guy that has found his groove, missed a lot of bats in spring training when he pitched against the Astros. This is a challenge for Cam Smith.
There's no doubt it's going to be a challenge, especially here at the beginning of the season, because, like I said, everybody is now, it's for real now. In spring training, it's not for real. They're exhibition games, and especially your veteran pitchers, they're not cranking on it. They're working on stuff. They're trying to get their arm strength. They're trying to get their legs underneath them. Well, now it's time to go ahead and strap it on and get ready. And we'll have to see how he reacts. Now, he's reacted positively in every aspect of the move to right field. There have been a couple times we have seen some bad routes, and we're going to continue to see those hiccups. But the question is going to be, and this is why I'll go back to what I said a few minutes ago, it's going to be more about, can he handle the pressure mentally? Can he, handle the situations? Can he, what is going to be a reaction if he does struggle? And, Joe Espada and Dana must feel like he's going to be able to handle that just fine mentally, because that's really the key. He's going to struggle at some point. I mean,
exactly.
Mike Trout came up the first time he struggled. It wasn't until the next season he became that MVP caliber player.
True.
How is he going to approach? I mean, you're talking about a guy that, again, a year ago was in college.
It's insane to think about, and the Astros have typically been ones to kind of manipulate the service time, but they have what's called the PPI in place. The PPI is the player performance incentive, which I think is very narrow. Cam Smith has to finish top 3 MVP or win Rookie of the Year for them to get an additional first-round pick, which is sandwiched between the first and the second round. So essentially it's like a 31st pick, but who wouldn't want an extra pick in the first round?
Sure.
The problem is he has to play all 100. He has to play 172 days, which gives him his service time for the year. Now, if the Astros don't think that he can get that Rookie of the Year, all they have to do is send him down to AAA for 2.5 weeks, and then they still get that service time back. Yeah. So they don't lose that service time. Now, I do have a question for you that a listener is one to ask. It's in the super chat. I'm going to throw it up here, but I'm going to try to share my screen to show you this guy's stats. Have you heard of Wilmi Sanchez?
I don't think so.
Because he is a newer guy that has come on, and I'm gonna show you who he is. Can you see this Wilmi Sanchez right here? On my screen, can you see it?
Barely.
Hold on, let me do this. No, I guess you can.
There, just read them to me.
Okay. So Wilmi Sanchez. All right. Let me remove this real quick. There we go. Wilmi Sanchez is listed with the hooks already. He's 6-2 in his minor league career. Okay. He was born in 2003. He's pretty young. 121 innings pitched, 165 strikeouts. He recently, on 3/17, he punched out 4 of the 8 batters he faced in his first appearance in spring training, touching 96. Sanchez struck out 82 batters in 54 innings last season, posting a 3.50 ERA with the Woodpeckers and the Tourist. Now, being that we don't have a lot of background information, what does a guy like that have to do to advance through the minor leagues? He's in Double-A. He is a guy that's been here for a couple seasons. Yeah. What does he have to focus on getting? Because in Double-A is where your pitches are. Triple-A is where you get the hitters.
So what he needs to do is first throw strikes. All the strikeouts, okay, that's great. Okay, right. He doesn't give up a whole lot of hits. That's awesome. All right, but does he have? You didn't read off the most important to me, and that's how many walks does he have?
Okay.
What kind of command does he have? It's one thing striking out A-ball hitters that are, kind of just up there hacking at anything that's, coming at them. And a lot of times they make a lot of contact with those. But what happens when you go against more veteran hitters that have approaches that, study what you're doing? So,
Right.
it's all about polish, but here's the thing. Once you get to AA, okay, you're a phone call from the big leagues.
True. That's
Okay.
true.
Astros don't usually bring guys up for AA, but there's teams all over the place that would actually rather pull somebody up from AA than AAA. And that's been happening for decades.
And we know they did that with Bloss. We know they did that. We know the Pirates did that with Paul Skeens.
Yep.
So here are his numbers, Mike. 121 complete innings, 121 in 1/3 innings in his minor league career, 69 walks.
It's too high.
Too high, really? Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
69 walks. He's given up 100.
Yeah, you're talking about roughly 4.5 walks per 9 innings.
Okay. True.
Okay, so that's a little bit high. But when you're talking about guys that have big stuff and big swing and miss,
Yeah, he does.
you can afford to walk a few more. But you got to remember that you're walking A-ball hitters. You're not walking AA, AAA, and big.
You're not
hitters.
walking guys that have the eye like Isak Paredes or Alex Bregman. You're walking guys that you're walking guys because you're throwing them out of the zone.
And a lot of times because of the stuff, he can just overwhelm hitters. So there needs to be a little bit more work. Needs to spend a little more time in the zone. If he gives up a few more hits, that's fine. But it's just one of those situations that there needs to be a little bit more polish. But, the raw talent, obviously the numbers state that the raw talent's there.
Yeah, that's the thing. But one of the things I do like is the Astros player development group seems to do a really good job with guys. I mean, and I like when they bring guys over and kind of fix them or help them out. Charlie Morton has extended his career.
Oh my gosh, he's still going. What is he's north of 40 now?
Yeah, he's like 41, 42, and he's still pitching. And I think now I'm not saying Charlie couldn't have done it on his own, but the Astros sure did help him out a lot.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. And you remember when they signed him, we were all like, what? You gave him a multi-year deal? Well, this shows what we know.
Exactly. So Jose Altuve coming in from left field. Mike, we were at the game Monday, and my buddy Orlando was with me, and Jose Altuve was running out there, and he just randomly yells, "You're too far." And I go, "No, he's just that small." Because it looked like he was trying to play shortstop, and he kept running.
Right.
And you're just not used to seeing him out there. This is a tall order for a guy that's not very tall. And I mean, to me, when Craig Biggio went out to center field and maybe went to left a little bit, he was 6'1". That's a big difference from 5'5" or 5'6".
Yeah, the size means nothing.
Okay.
I mean, listen, he can still run.
True.
He did have all spring training to help with tracking balls. And to tell you the truth, playing outfield in Florida in the spring is not easy. You got the bright sun. One day the wind's howling out to left. The next day it's howling out to right. Reading balls off the bat. It's going to be a little bit different. And just like, he's had more experience, obviously, than Cam Smith, but not a whole lot more.
Right.
It's just been spring training. Different place in his career, though.
That's true.
Jose is already a Hall of Famer. He's already the face of this franchise. He's already the best player to ever play for the Astros. And I think that this is going to make his career even longer. I think that it's going to be fine. Are there going to be some hiccups? There could be.
Right.
To tell you the truth, what this really does, this puts all kinds of pressure on Jake Myers in center field. He's going to have to. Now, he's not going to have to carry to cover more ground in left center field because Jose is going to be able to run. But some of the funky hops when you're playing the ball off of the bullpen in left, maybe even a weird hop off of the manual scoreboard at the Crawford boxes. I mean, there's a lot of things, a lot of little nuances that Jose is going to have to put up with and then figure out. And Jake very well may have to get over there and help him out a little bit.
Yeah. And, also to mention, this is the first time since 1982 that a major league team has started the year on opening day with 2 outfielders who are in their new positions. So this is not a formula. This
Right.
is not in the book of how to be a successful club. This is not one of those rules. And that's why I think 2025 is going to be a year that we're going to look back on, and we're going to be amazed at some of the things that happen because there's so many storylines. Lance McCullers Jr. coming back. I don't know if you heard the unfortunate news. They're getting a second opinion on Luis Garcia's elbow.
I did not hear that. And that
yes,
is unfortunate.
he is going to he's in a second opinion, Mike, as a former pitcher yourself.
The first opinion wasn't good.
Right.
I mean, you don't get a second opinion just to get a second opinion. If you got positive, if you got positive news, you're running with that.
Yeah, you're not going to be like, oh, let me make sure you're right.
Right.
So yeah, you hate to hear that because Luis Garcia is one of the better guys in that clubhouse. Just a good guy, happy guy. Always smiling.
Yeah.
But McCullers coming back, Whitley starting on the IL, Ort starting on the IL. So is Dubin, but
Ort should be back pretty quick.
Right. Yeah.
It was an oblique. It wasn't an arm injury. It's an oblique injury, and he's already throwing. So
yeah, he is. So that's
he
good.
very well could be back. Now there is a name that's coming. Listen, when you look at this roster, if you don't recognize some names, that's okay because there's some names on there that we don't exactly know who these people are. And for a team that's had the success the Astros have had, this has the chance of it's going to be a very interesting season one way or another. Okay.
It will be.
And in the bullpen, there are some real questions. There is a familiar name, though, that the Astros are paying a lot of money.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. That would be Rafael Montero.
11.5 million reasons why he's in that.
Yeah.
But to his credit,
he had a good spring.
He pitched well in the spring, and you hope that carries over.
Sure.
And probably I would think it's safe to say that Rafael Montero is as motivated as anybody else because it's not like the Jose Abreu situation where it just kind of seemed like he just lost his edge.
Yeah.
Montero he just couldn't find the zone.
It's one of those crazy things because he's always had tremendous stuff. Now you got to remember where you got him from. You got him from Seattle, and he was so bad in Seattle. They just released him.
Yeah.
They didn't try. They just let him go. He came over, pitched okay for the Astros. Then 2023, he shoved. Last year, he stunk it up again. And I mean, it just shows that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. If you remember what happened, he cleared waivers. Of course, you knew he was going to clear waivers. They were trying to send him down or release him. He did not. So he cleared waivers because no one was going to take that contract. And he decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to stick with the Astros. And now he's back in the big leagues it's actually a pretty remarkable story.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, and that's the thing with the Astros, though. You can find all kinds of remarkable stories.
Yeah.
I share with you about Tyler Ivey.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up. He's going to be starting for the Space Cowboys. And that's, there's all kinds of cool things that could happen. Now, Framber Valdez making his 4th consecutive start as the opening day starter.
Yep.
That is tied with, hadn't been done since Roy Oswalt did it, who did it 8 years in a row. That was quite a run by Roy Oswalt.
Yeah.
So,
he deserves it. He is the horse. He is the number one. He is the veteran. Now I completely expect Framber to have at least a very, very solid season, if not a great season. You got to remember this is a contract year.
Yeah.
We'll talk at the end of the season whether Framber will make a 5th straight opening day start. Because that means that the Astros would have to give him the long-term contract that he's going to be looking for.
Right.
That is a story for later in the season. But, he's right where he should be. And listen, if it doesn't matter how good the other offensive is, if he's got the sinker in the location he's supposed to do it, they can hit the ball as hard as they want because all they're going to do is beat it into the ground.
Well, and that's good because you've got 3 of your 4 infielders that are former
That's
Gold
right.
Glove winners. And what's interesting about Rogers,
Well, one of them's not playing tomorrow.
who's not playing tomorrow?
Rogers.
Rogers is Rogers.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. It'll be what Dubon.
Dubon is playing second.
Dubon will be playing second. Well, when Rogers is Dubon's a Gold Glover too. I could have put him on there, but he was a Gold Glove utility. Yeah.
Hey, whatever.
Well, there you go. Hey,
the glove is gold. The glove is gold.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, Doobie. I forgot you were there.
No, it's okay. And you know, to talk about this, you know, what has Rogers done in his career? Well, he is a tremendous defensive player. He played in Colorado. Not a good offensive player. Really struggled with the home and road splits, like you see so many Rockies do. You know, what do you need him to? And listen, I think that Mauricio Dubon, his highest value is as that utility player.
Right. When he's not hold to one position.
Yes, because I think that you know, offensively, he's still a little suspect. He's better than he used to be.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of power. There is a lot of contact. He doesn't strike out a whole lot. But I think his highest value is in his ability to play all over the field and play all over the field well. I think when you keyhole him into one position, I think that, you know, the offense is going to be a little bit more of an issue. But I think the way this whole roster is put together, whether it's the outfield, whether it's the utility infield, whatever it is, there's a lot of moving parts. And I think that's how this roster was put together, with the idea, let's just have athletes, you know, kind of like the Tampa Bay Rays have done for years and years and years. Let's just put the best athletes on the field and let's see what happens. So, you know, Rogers, I think, is definitely going to get some playing time. And listen, if he could hit 240, okay, and you go, well, that's not very high. That's actually league average. You know, league average has come down over the years. If he could hit 240 with his defense, I think you could put Mauricio back in that super utility role, spelling people all over the place and having exceptional defense wherever you put him.
Yeah, I love that idea. I hadn't really thought about that. I guess what I was focused on was, because he makes a major league roster, you know, he gets that $2 million salary. He's got all these incentives. You know, if he's there by the 50th game, if he's there by the 150th, you know, he's got all these incentives. But needless to say, I think in the infield, Framber's got a good, you know, safety net behind him.
Listen, you know, Mauricio is a exceptional second baseman, just like Rogers is. And you know, you look at Walker at first base. He's a Gold Glove winner too. So that's a 100%. Very good right side of the infield. Pena is a Gold Glove winner at third. Okay, or it's short. Okay, and then you know you have Paredes at third, which is going to be defensively going to be a step backwards from Bregman. It is, but he's still at least average at third base. So, you know, pretty good defense around the horn for the Astros. Speaking
of third baseman, and speaking of Bregman, I don't know if you saw the news, but Cora let the team know and let the press know that Alex Bregman is the starting third baseman in Boston, and Rafael Devers will be the DH. And those are everyday positions.
That's exactly how it should have been at the beginning. Now, I know Rafael Devers has been the face of the franchise. He is an exceptional offensive player.
He is.
But he has been a total bust at third base. He is a liability. He is below average at best.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're going to have a Gold Glove winner, one of the best third basemen in the league since he manned the position his rookie year, and you're going to put him in a position. So you're going to put him in a position at second base. I never thought that was going to float. Never. Yeah. I didn't know it was going to be by opening day.
Well, everybody was replaying the soundbite where they're like, "Are you going to play DH?" No, I'm a third baseman.
Yeah, yeah. And listen, what does that mean? That means that they probably had to talk him into it. And you know, Devers has his money. He's going to be an exceptional player, and you know, that's where he should be.
Yeah.
You know, what kind of third baseman is he? Man, can he hit? That's what kind of third baseman he is.
That's right. That's right. So coming into this, we have an AL West race that I think is going to be more fun than you would think it would be, because it's the AL West, and we kind of had gotten that name there for a few years until, you know, the Astros, you know, run here. but there hadn't been a ton of competition, and it seems like the Rangers have ponied up a little bit on several things. Now they did announce that Evan Carter, one of their best rookies last year, is going to start in AAA this year. He's going to start in Round Rock. He's not going to start with the big club. I think he struggled in the spring. So
you remember 2 years ago, he was oh my goodness.
I know. Yeah. No, he was good. But they have Wyatt Langford. They've got, look, Adolis Garcia is going to hit his home runs. He's not going to hit for average. You've got Simeon. You've got Seager. I mean, you've got a formidable offense there in Arlington. You've got a decent pitching staff. Does DeGrom stay healthy? But I think it's really a 3-team race, the Astros, the Rangers, the Mariners. Nobody outside of Houston is picking the Astros to win the West. I think the Houston Astros, one of the key factors for me, Mike, and I want to ask you what you feel about this. Last year, 17-29, I believe, in one-run games. If they bring that record to 500, you gain a lot of ground in that divisional race. I just don't see the Astros being supplanted as AL West champs. What do you think?
First, you got to knock the big dog off the top of the hill. Okay, you can talk about the other teams all you want.
Right.
The Astros have had the it factor for a long time. What the Astros have to do in 2025 is they have to make sure that you do not repeat what you did at the beginning of the season last year. Okay, there's the old saying, you can't win the division in April, but you can lose it. And the Astros, tried to do it. Now, it was crazy how they turned that around. It was historic how they turned it around, and they did it in about 3.5 weeks. Now they had to do it. They did it with some help. The Mariners, kind of choked all over themselves yet again. And but you can't plan on that happening again.
Right.
They need to tread water. This is a very different roster. The roster has to come together. Everybody's got to figure out their roles, and so early in the season you have to make sure that you don't bury yourself again. But I still have the Astros as winning this division. I think it could be a tight race. I am always going to question Rangers pitching, okay? And I'm always going to question Mariners offense. So with those questions, it may be a 3-horse race, but I think that the Astros have the experience and have the veteran leadership to do what they need to do.
So someone's asking me if I still have my hot take of the Yankees missing the playoffs, and I do. I have the Yankees missing the playoffs this year.
Really?
I think Garrett Cole's out. I think Giancarlo Stanton's on the IL right now. DJ LeMahieu, Loaiza's out. I mean, there's just a lot of uncertainty. That lineup without Juan Soto is going to hurt a little bit with Aaron Judge's production. I'm not saying Aaron Judge isn't going to hit, because he's been one of the best hitters in the last couple seasons, and he's very, very good. And I'm actually changing my AL East prediction, Mike. I had the Orioles as the AL East champs. I'm putting it on the Red Sox. And I'm putting it on the pitching they gained. I'm putting it on Alex Bregman having a career year in Boston with the Green Monster out there. But I'm still sticking. So my 3 AL winners are the Astros, the Royals, and the Red Sox.
Okay.
And I want to see an Astros, Red Sox, ALCS. I want to face Bregman in Daikin Park. And I want to hear the boos for him and see if people can really boo your former son of Houston in Alex Bregman. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Guy now.
I don't know.
We can give him his tribute video when he comes the first time. But come playoffs, it's all love and war until – it's all fun and games until we hit the field, all right?
Yeah, I don't know how much – there may be some boos. I don't know how much venom there's going to be in those boos.
Well, no, not venom.
But here's the other side of that.
Yeah.
Do you really want to piss him off?
Well,
do you really want Alex Bregman to start playing with a chip on his shoulder? Because we've seen how good he can be.
Maybe I don't want to poke the bear.
You go.
But it still would be an intriguing matchup, wouldn't it?
Oh, sure it would. Sure.
Cora Bregman, so do you, and there's a lot of people not picking the Dodgers, and I think they're doing it out of spite. look, if the Dodgers don't make it to the World Series, I'm going to say it's a disappointment. I'm going to say you guys have set the
They
bar
have to be
so
the
high.
same way. Listen, I played for the last dynasty in the Yankees. Everybody knows that, and everybody's probably tired of hearing me talk about it, even though I don't talk about it very much. But we really had an approach. It's World Series or bust.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers, with them winning last year, and then with the team that they have put together, basically an all-star team all the way around the field, that has to be their approach. It can't be anything else. Making the playoffs isn't good enough. Getting to the NLCS isn't good enough. Getting to the World Series, not going to cut it. You got to win another one. Or it's I don't want to say it's a waste, but that has to be the player's approach. And there comes a lot of pressure with that type of situation. And there are so many times that the best team in baseball, most of the time, they don't win.
And, there's an opinion that I was just thinking about the different things going on in baseball, thinking about this shift out to the West where it used to be up in the Northeast.
Yeah.
You got the Dodgers. The Dodgers, they won the World Series, and what did they do? They went out and they got better. That is what fan bases expect their teams to do.
Sure.
And you can hate on the Dodgers all you want to, but they didn't sit back and go, we won the World Series. We're just going to raise prices on beer. No, They went out and got more help. Gosh dang it. And does it piss you off as an opposing fan? Yes. But
they're the new evil empire.
Do what?
They are the new evil empire.
Yeah.
They need, but you know what? It's awesome. Not because I'm a Dodgers fan, not in any way, shape, or form, but baseball is better when you have someone to hate.
It's like the Dark Knight series when the Joker goes, "You need me."
That's right.
You need me, Batman. That's kind of my. I've got a little bit better impression of that, but he's don't kill me. We need each other, kind of thing. And that's true. You need a villain in the story. The Astros were the villain. They had kind of become the villains especially because of 2017. And I even had to defend the Astros on the AL West preview on Locked On because they said we only had one. They're like, the Astros won a World Series the last, 7 or 8 years. And I'm like, no, we won 2 World Series.
That counts.
It does count. It's still, it's in the Hall of Fame, dang it.
You know what you can do with your asterisk.
That's right. That's right. Don't let it hit you in the asterisk right on the way out.
That's right.
But Mike, dude, I'm excited. Juan Soto, Pete Alonso coming to town. It's going to be fun. We got a Texas kid, and Brett Beatty made the roster. Now he's not going to be playing. I found out from a friend. He's not going to be playing Friday because of the left-handed matchup. He's not a good matchup for left-handers, but he will be playing Saturday and Sunday. One of my best friends from college, his son and Brett Beatty grew up together.
Cool.
And so they're real good friends. His son's in the Army, so he's coming down. He's going to be on leave for the weekend, get to see his buddy play professional baseball. So that's neat to see Texas boys celebrate baseball together. But do you have any other thoughts for the fans before we go?
Hey, you know what? It's a long season. It's going to be fun, to watch and see how this team solidifies itself, how well they can play. If you got some of the pitchers able to come back, tell your friends we're going to be here all season long. And so tell your friends, you guys sign on, like us, follow us, where you can get us. And, we'll keep you completely informed on what's going on with the Astros and in baseball right here on Back to the Bullpen.
That's right. And what we're going to start doing, Mike and I will formulate a plan. I'll let y'all know on social media when we have weeks where we have mailbag shows where you send in questions and we answer. If you got questions for the resident professional here, you can ask them questions. I'm sure Mike is a lot more qualified to answer baseball questions than I am. So that's why it's Back to the Bullpen with Mike and Brett. So, guys, y'all have a good one. For everybody here at Back to the Bullpen, Ram Shirts, thank you for your sponsorship. State of the Art Barber, thank you for your sponsorship. We appreciate you, and let's go Astros. Y'all have a good one.
Adios.
I'm looking to the bullpen to bring my lefty in. Keep the lead and make it your team look pedestrian. It's in your wheelhouse, we'll swing for the fence. You know it's money around here, man, I ain't talking expense. Strike one, heat a low in the way, you can't hit it. Know you wanna start a rally, but you better forget it. Strike two, off speed, same spot, your car looking. Get ready at the plate, this time you're not cooking. Strike three, swinging out of the zone. You ain't even touch it first. Tell me how they gonna drive you home. Walk your back, walking